Oh man, so the community, the Terra community have voted 65.5% in favor of Terra 2.0. Yes, that means Terra, whether they like it or not, will be forked or rebirthed, as they like to say, into its new network. The previous existing Luna will become Lun C, and then the new Luna will be token symbol Luna. I'm going to explain exactly what's going on here. I know a lot of you guys, including me, are super fed up with Luna. We want this whole saga to really be put to bed. We've been covering this since the breakout of what happened with the depegging and everything that's going on, and it's all but important that we follow this through to the end. Even if we don't believe in the project, it's important that we cover off how much airdrop can you get, and also I have a few public service announcements to make sure nobody is getting called out by certain things going on of people trying to take advantage of the community. So a lot to go through in this video. Make sure you hit on the like button and subscribe. Don't forget, if you appreciate this type of content, you like my perspectives, then consider checking out the course member live streams, ijaz.uk/member. We do 3 times weekly live streams just for our members: technical analysis, fundamental analysis, what I'm doing in the market, portfolio critiques, and a whole lot more. So let's get straight into this video, because what we want to cover off is this first. And the first thing is that the vote went through quite strongly, right? So you can see here 65% voted yes, you had 20% abstaining, and you had 13 no with veto. You had a lot of people with high voting power abstaining, not sure what to go on. And I think a lot of this can be put down to them not wanting to annoy Do Kwon, right? It's one of those things where they don't quite believe in the vote. They should have voted no, but they didn't want to upset Do Kwon, maybe because he has too much power over them, maybe they're like friends or whatever other reason. It just doesn't make sense why you wouldn't have voted with that much voting power sitting there not voting, right? So that's the first thing to cover off there. It's gone through, it's gonna happen, and you guys know my take on this, right? There's nothing to hide here in terms of my take. Very simply, for me, it doesn't make sense. The whole ethos of what's going on here, you got to remember, Terra Luna, as we know it, as we followed it, as I was investing in it over many years, was built on the notion that the decentralized world needs decentralized money. UST was everything about the Terra ecosystem. Yes, there was some great UI. Yes, there were some great dApps, but you get that daily in a better way in the layer 1 community. And what Terra was really good at was doing the algorithmically backed stablecoin. So to go and fork and create this new mission where now you're going to build a layer 1 solution after your fork, just to protect your dApp developers, seems to me it's a bit too much of a project with too much baggage. It's built with the wrong intentions, not to serve the community as the world's best layer 1 solution, but just to recoup money and losses for people who suffered in the first tranche of Luna, right? So for me, you're going on this mission, right, to set up a new project or a company or whatever it is you're doing in your life, and you do it with the wrong intentions. You can only set yourself up for failure, and it just doesn't make sense that all this time it was all about decentralized money, it was all about UST. Do Kwon publicly has said that, and now he's just saying, oh, I'm going to give up on that dream, I'm not going to go pursue another dream or try to come back again with better knowledge or learn from my mistakes and do another stablecoin. But he's saying, I'm just going to do a rebirth of the network and almost become a Solana competitor, a Cardano competitor, a Phantom competitor, right? For me, that has a lot of baggage. And that's one of the reasons why I personally will not be buying any more of this new Luna, right? I'm not going to be buying any. Now, of course, like the majority of you guys, you will have bags of Luna which you just didn't sell, right? It was worthless selling it after it fell all the way to 0. So naturally, you're going to want to take advantage of this airdrop, and you're going to want to collect that. And I'll leave that there in the wallet. I don't expect anything to come of it, but I'll just leave it there, okay? And the reason for that is there's no point, right? There was no point in you selling it when the price went all the way down to the bottom, and you may as well collect your airdrop. If it did ever spike up out of some crazy GameStop AMC type saga or Dogecoin type saga, then you're going to benefit from that. So in this video, we will cover off how much you'll be receiving and how you can find out exactly for your specific requirements. And also, what are the logistics around how you're going to get it? Because we don't want to fall for any scams. There's going to be a lot of scams, so I'm going to make sure we're super clear on what is going on. But the first thing I wanted to cover off before this is there's a parallel. And not a lot of people, nobody's talking about this. And the parallel I would draw to what is going on with Terra is to look at Robinhood. So I know, again, this is a crypto channel. I don't want to focus too much on stocks, but this is a parallel because Robinhood if those of you remember, ceased trading during the GameStop saga, dating back to January 2021, right? So when GameStop was going crazy and there was a short squeeze happening, remember the whole movement? And then Robinhood messed up and they ceased trading and everybody was furious. So marry up Robinhood with Luna. Exactly what happened with Luna, you've got a community of people who are furious. You then have a community, a smaller one, of diehard people who love Robinhood, right? The investors, the community, the people building on Robinhood, the people who make good money on Robinhood, investors. You have people who love using it day to day. Fine. That's the same with Terra. You've got these dApp developers who now want to go down this fork. But what has happened here? You saw when Robinhood then IPO'd in the summer of 2021, about 5-6 months later, we saw a massive move in the price up. And then ever since, it's just been a long-term bleed. So this is the best parallel we can use, okay? So if we're going to take any lessons from this, what is the lesson? The lesson is you can get crazy momentum in this. When Luna launches and the new Luna launches, don't be surprised if you see something like this, right? And traders taking advantage and making quick money. But then longer term, you have to ask yourself, what is the picture? You do not want to get caught up in this if you don't know what you're doing. If you know how to trade and you know what you're doing and there is a pump, fine. If you're experienced, take advantage of it. But the reality is that's what's going to happen. And one of the reasons this is happening, as opposed to momentum to the upside or even sideways, is we're not in a favorable market right now. So for me, the new Luna is almost going to be treated like a momentum stock / meme coin type play. And I know their intentions aren't that. They want to build real projects. The developers are moving over. But when you've incited that much emotion amongst a community of people, it's a really, really messy situation. You've got so many people now with stakes in Luna. You've got the pre-attack holders. You've got the post-attack Luna holders. You've got the pre-attack UST holders. You've got the post-attack UST holders. You then got arbitragers coming in. You've then got the new developers who actually believe in the long term of Luna. You then got people who just holding their new Luna, like I will be, with no intention to contribute to the ecosystem or talk positively about it or be part of the community. Right? So it's a very, very complex and tricky situation that the new Luna finds himself in. And for that reason, at this point, I cannot put my name to it. I cannot back it. And I will not definitely be investing in it. Now, let's keep things moving because there's another interesting article we noticed from US Senator Pat Toomey, who has a big voice in terms of regulation. And obviously, he's a US Senator, right? And he's notably been against stablecoins in the past. But he said a very interesting quote here, which I thought I would share with you. The mechanism to ensure the value of UST was very dubious, but people wanted to speculate on that. They were being promised huge returns. Maybe, this is the important bit, maybe you've got an argument for fraud. Maybe people are misrepresenting the nature of this animal. And this is what we're going to see happening over time. And this is another reason why, backing a new project where the founder has so much, one, reputational damage. I mean, the reputation's been damaged, but also so many pending inquiries and investigations. Exchanges will be investigating. We know Do Kwon's been called into the parliamentary hearing in Korea. Maybe the US are going to want to hear from him as well. This is still a developing situation. We still don't have the transparency of knowing where all the Bitcoin reserves gone. I've not seen it. Have you guys? Do we actually know? Have the exchanges come out and said these are the end wallets where it went to? No, we don't have that. Okay? And then keeping things moving again, I noticed this, which really kind of irked me a little bit, which was the Financial Times, which is obviously one of the pinnacle publications in traditional finance, comes out with the Terra Luna Hall of Shame. And I thought this was damn right out of order, to be completely fair. And in it, they basically go ahead and start listing all the people that were wrong on Terra Luna. The notable people, right? Mike Novogratz. They listed Jump Capital. They listed Mark DiMaggio, right? And then they carry on. They then say CZ from Binance, Raoul Pal. And they go ahead and they start listing all of these people. And I thought, hang on a second. This just reminds you of the hatred in traditional finance. And this is the damage that Luna has now done us. Because these guys were waiting for excuses to lay into crypto and how much of a scam it is and how much of a Ponzi it is. Right? But the reality is, in the normal equities market, I know, I came from investment banking. Companies go bust every single day. Companies are liquidated all the time. Huge hedge funds get things wrong all the time. Look at the Archegos issue with the hedge funds. I mean, when was that? Just last year. Crazy. Happens all the time. Look at the GameStop saga, right? So they can't come here on their moral high ground, sitting on their high horse, trying to tell us, or put shade on any of these guys for investing in Luna. And that's why Luna was such a shock for us as well as a crypto community. This was not a meme coin. This was not Shiba. This was not SafeMoon. This was not Doge. This was a real project building real things, which got it wrong. And that's why death spiraled, and that's why a lot of people got burnt. People with intelligence in the space investing for the right reasons, like Mike Novogratz. These are sophisticated investors. But the sophisticated investors, just like Mike here, they know, and if you read his letter, he penned a really nice open letter. They know this is what it's about. They know that this is just part and parcel of investing, whether in real estate, whether in stocks, whether in any commodity. There's risk involved, and that's part of it. And sometimes you get them right, sometimes you get them wrong, and that's the aim of the game. But where we do feel bad is for the individual investor who went over and above putting their life savings into UST or putting into Anchor Protocol, which they shouldn't have done. We know that, but it's still not right. It's still upsetting that they were affected so badly in that. So that's what we saw in terms of this, I thought, quite shameful article, really, doing a hall of shame on Luna. Didn't really make sense. Okay, let's keep things moving. We then had a fat man who's quite vocal on the Twitter community in terms of Luna, came out and said, here's an inside glean into company culture at TFL. From my interview with Hyung-Suk Kang, an ex-TFL employee who left in 2020, remember this previously, Do Kwon is a disgrace to the blockchain industry. I tried to stop him from initiating these despicable schemes, but nobody else stood up to him. Do was TFL and TFL was Do. I tried to make people listen, but they were blinded by greed. They told me if you obey him blindly, you will be greatly rewarded. This disgusted me to the core. I had to leave. I couldn't do it. I had to do what was right. People of Do's type and nature are brimming with conceit. They think they're royalty. These people are truly worse than the North Koreans. Wow, strong language. Their ego and lack of accountability is boundless. The company culture was abhorrent on multiple levels. They belong in hell. So clearly this guy felt really badly, right? Hyung-Suk Kang is currently working with Korean prosecutors to provide evidence and testimony to help their case against TFL and the damage they have done to Korean society. I have been invited to assist with these efforts, and I hope to work in hand with them soon. So, this is the thing for me, right? You've got to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and evidence, innocent until proven guilty. Completely understand that. But when you've got these kind of smoke clouds emerging from various different angles, right? You had CZ coming out and saying, these guys were just not professional. They were not forthcoming in the peak of the incidents when they still had a chance of saving people's life savings. They were not acting responsibly with diligence, right? So that was quite damning at the time, and we covered our thoughts around that. And then now you then had some of the legal team leave TFL, right? Now you're getting statements like this. Sometimes, the saying, there's no smoke without fire, but it will help if Do Kwon comes out and starts talking to these things, right? Sharing evidence, giving us the transaction receipts for the BTC reserves, helping us, give us more information than we want, right? So that way you come across as very transparent, very open, particularly because you want to go and do another fork so soon. We would not be putting this pressure on you if you were going into the twilight and just resting for a couple of months and thinking about things, maybe going to your hearings, resolving the issue, trying to make things right. Fine. But you're not. You're trying to fork and go on another mission with people, take people with you, DApp developers and the community, but you haven't really put right the previous thing. So that's important as well. Right, so how much Luna are you going to get airdropped? So the first thing is first, you need to understand that you don't need to do anything to get your airdropped amounts. Very, very important. If somebody says reach out here or do this with a wallet, no, you don't need to do anything. Where you are holding your Luna or UST, where it was held in your wallet, those exchanges will automatically airdrop those to your wallets. Okay, so you can see here the Terra community just passed a vote to rebirth Terra Network. We are working closely on the recovery plan, aiming to provide impacted users on Binance with the best possible treatment. Stay tuned. So the major exchanges, I think you've got Binance, Huobi, FTX, and a few others have already announced it, will be working to make sure that you get airdropped these. I'm pretty sure Do Kwon tweeted as well. They are indexing a lot of the decentralized exchanges as well, so stay tuned for updates around that on Twitter and obviously from Terra themselves. But the key thing I wanted to share with you guys, do not, like anybody who says reach out or do this in order to get your free airdrop, no, it's going to come to your account directly. You don't need to do anything. That's the point of an airdrop. Now, I'm going to leave you the link for this, which is a really important calculator, which was created by Terrarity. Can't even pronounce that, yeah? Terrarity. And they've given you this calculator, which just makes things a little bit easier. You can go ahead and you can enter for your numbers here. So you can enter how much Luna you held post-attack, how much UST you bought post-attack, how much you had pre, and how much you had pre-attack. Now, if you want to know what does it mean, pre-attack, post-attack, go back to the proposal, which is this one here. Go to this proposal. And when you head into there, you want to scroll to the bottom and you'll see a few things. You'll see the definition, obviously, but this is the most important thing you want to look at. Pre-attack tells you that before this time on the 7th of May, okay? That's your pre-attack. Post-attack is anybody here, 27th, okay? So really important that you understand that. So anybody who buys before 27th, because 27th is the genesis of the new network. So tomorrow is when they'll create the genesis file for the new network, and then they will launch. So they're not hanging around. They're going to do this quickly. So anybody who bought anybody who bought before 7th of May, that counts as pre-attack. Anybody who bought between 7th and 27th, those 20 days, that's post-attack. Very important. And then you can go into the calculator. I'll leave the link in the description, and you can start to type this in, and it will tell you how much you get. It will also mention the vesting, and it will tell you when you'll get them, right? Because remember, if you come back to the proposal, it tells you how long you need to vest. So you can go into this, and you can understand exactly what that means. Now, remember, this was the other thing, right? Which again irks me a little bit, is that this, don't forget, we covered this. The proposal here was changed after voting happened. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Like, that is nonsense. So, this vote got put through, and I don't care which side you sit on, but then halfway through, when people have already started voting, they changed the metrics. And we talked about that, right? They changed the distribution. So, crazy, should have been stopped, should have been a revote. Either way, they're going to crack on because the community want what's best for them. And the dApp developers have a really large pool here. They're going to be incentivized hugely for being essential projects. And naturally, that's what this whole project for me is about now. It's just, it's another network created to protect the victims of the previous, not the victims like you and I, the victims who were dApp developers from the previous Terra. So not something I personally can support, but obviously if there's free Luna to be airdropped, make sure you get that and just leave it there and see what happens with it, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this update. As always, if you appreciate my perspectives, consider checking the course member live streams, ijaz.uk/member. Remember, 3 times weekly live streams. You guys are not going to want to miss that. I mean, for the price it costs, it's an absolute no-brainer. If you don't make that back in a month, then you're doing something wrong in crypto. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link up a video at the end of this video. Make sure you go watch those videos to give you more context, and I'll see you in the next one.